Hello to you and welcome to Titwillow Titbits, the Gilbert and Sullivan podcast from Hull Savoyards. The podcast which promises to offer a small, perfectly formed glimpse into the world of Gilbert and Sullivan through patter, paradox and plot, with the occasional artistic sigh whilst holding a lily, or should I say lili. I'm Tom and today we're exploring patience, or Bunthorne, Grosvenor and the perils of being too aesthetic. So, what is patience? Patience is nowhere near the first collaboration of Gilbert and Sullivan. It felt right to explore Patience this week, as it has been selected to be Hull Savoyards' main production for 2026. Patience, first performed in 1881, is a comedy about love, fashion, and taking ideas entirely too seriously. We begin our story in a quiet English village where 20 lovesick maidens have fallen under the spell of the aesthetic movement. They speak in sighs, carry lilies, and believe that their love must be pale, poetic, and deeply uncomfortable. Their devotion is focused on one Reginald Bunthorne, a poet who looks the part of a suffering artist, but is in truth rather enjoying the attention. Bunthorne encourages the ladies' devotion, not because he loves them, but because he loves being adored, and this is extremely convenient for him. Enter Archibald Grosvenor, another poet and Bunthorne's rival. Where Bunthorne's gloom is carefully cultivated, Grosvenor's poetry and charm are completely natural. He doesn't try to be admired, which makes him instantly irresistible. In the centre of all this stands our titular character, Patience, a gentle milkmaid who believes love should be selfless and painful. She cannot understand why anyone would want admiration or happiness. She is baffled by the aesthetic craze entirely. The village's dragoon guards, once admired by the ladies, now find themselves ignored. Determined to win back affection, they reluctantly embrace aestheticism themselves, adopting soft manners, poetic speech, and remarkably amount of emotional sensitivity. As Act 1 reaches its climax, Bunthorne, overwhelmed by the sheer number of admirers, declares that he will marry, but only one of the ladies chosen entirely at random. His solution? A lottery. Tickets are bought and drawn, hearts race, and chaos reigns until Patience, believing that loving Bunthorne would be suitably miserable and self-sacrificing thing to do, declares herself the winner. The act ends in glorious confusion with Bunthorne horrified, the ladies outraged, and Patience serenely convinced she is doing the right thing. Act 2 opens with the consequences of that lottery very much in place. Patience is now engaged to Bunthorne, and neither of them is happy about it. Patience is determined to love him properly, meaning selflessly and without enjoyment, while Bunthorne, having wanted admiration rather than marriage, finds himself thoroughly trapped. Meanwhile, the problem of Archibald Grosvenor remains. He is still admired by everyone, still effortlessly perfect, and therefore still completely unacceptable to the aesthetic crowd. The solution, naturally, is to make Grosvenor less perfect. Bunthorne and the ladies insist that Grosvenor must abandon everything that makes him admired. He stops being kind, stops being handsome, and above all, stops being popular. Grosvenor agrees, but only on one condition, that everyone else agrees to be equally miserable. This result is one of Gilbert's most delicious reversals. The aesthetics must now reject beauty and happiness, while the dragoon guards are free at last to return to the sensible uniform and straightforward emotion. As aestheticism collapses, Patience finally realises the flaw in her philosophy. True love, she learns, does not require constant suffering. In fact, being happy is not morally wrong after all. With that revelation, engagements unravel and reform at a remarkable speed. Patience is freed from Bunthorne, the ladies abandon their poetic poses, and Bunthorne himself is left without admirers, which, it turns out, is his greatest fear. In the end, harmony is restored. Patience chooses Grosvenor, the couples pair off sensibly, and the village returns to normal, leaving aestheticism behind as just another fashionable phase that burned brightly, briefly, and absurdly. The satire. At its heart, Patience is Gilbert and Sullivan having fun with fashionable absurdity. The comic opera pokes gentle but pointed fun at the aesthetic movement, such as poets and artists who value style, suffering and beauty above all else, often to ridiculous extremes. Think Oscar Wilde. Bunthorne embodies this with his languid poses and his exaggerated misery. It also looks at society's blind devotion to trends. The lovesick ladies abandon reason for their latest craze, showing how people will follow fashion without thinking, something that is still very relatable today. It also looks at the false versus the genuine virtue. Bunthorne pretends to suffer, Grosvenor is naturally admirable, And Patience herself initially over-idealises moral self-sacrifice, highlighting the gap between appearance and reality. Furthermore, it pokes fun at rigid gender roles and identity. The dragoon gods transform themselves into aesthetics just to please the others, showing how easily social norms and personal identity can be bent for popularity. And finally, they poke fun at the pretentiousness of emotion. And this is done through Sullivan's music, which amplifies the joke by treating trivial or absurd emotions with grandeur, making the audience laugh at the contrast between seriousness and silliness. In short, Patience is satire wrapped in melody. It mocks obsession, pretense, and fashion, while still delivering tunes so beautiful that you almost forget that you're laughing at someone else's absurdity. So now you know what to expect. Why not come and watch Patience on stage? And if it sounds like something you'd enjoy to see yourself, then the Hull Savoyards will be bringing Patience to the stage on June the 11th, 12th and the 13th, 2026. Audience can expect an evening that's witty, tuneful and surprisingly modern. Patience sparkles with sharp dialogue, memorable melodies and characters who are gloriously larger than life, yet uncomfortingly familiar. It's also one of the very best operas with which to discover Gilbert and Sullivan. The story is clear, the humour lands instantly, and the music stays with you long after the curtain comes down. No prior knowledge is required, just a willingness to laugh. If you're new to GNS, Patience welcomes you, and if you already love it, the layers of satire, musical richness and comedy precision make it endlessly rewarding. In short, it's clever without being clever, funny without being cruel, and perfect introduction to the Savoy world. So, having heard about Patience now and you feel like it's something you want to become involved in, why not come and join Hull Savoyards in their production? We will be holding auditions on the 17th of January 2026 at Cottingham Civic Hall. So whether you long to brood like Bunthorne, shine like Grosvenor, or sing in a chorus armed with lilies and deep emotion, we'd love to hear from you. There is more information on our social media pages, or you can email us secretary@hullsavoyards.co.uk. Please remember, no experience is necessary, just enthusiasm and a sense of humour. So as we now draw to an end our Titwillow Titbit for the week, Patience reminds us that fashions fade, pretensions collapse, but good satire and good music will never go out of style. Join us next time for another Titwillow Titbit. Until then, I've been Tom, and remember, to be natural is such a very difficult pose to keep up. Thank you and take care. I now leave you with a recording of Hull Savoyards performing When I Go Out of Door from Patience. This particular version was used in our last production of Dick Whittington in 2025, and it's sung by the characters who played Rose and Alice.
Deceive me if you can, an everyday young man, a commonplace type with a stick and a pipe and a half-bred black and tan, who thinks of urban hops, more fun than Sunday hops, who's fond of his dinner and doesn't get thinner on mortal beer and chops. A commonplace young girl, a matter of fact young girl, a steady and sturdy, jolly black holiday, everyday young girl, with smears and quills young girls, with Madame Louise young girls, with prettily, chittily, chittering, everyday young girls, we glide with gentle grace, with virtue on our face, no softly blushing, no need for rushing, just taking a lady's pace. A commonplace young girl, a matter of fact young girl, a steady and sturdy, jolly black holiday, everyday